Oh, good afternoon. Oh, morning still. Waiting for you. So, how are you today? Okay, that's good. So we've got only 15 minutes left. Let's talk about paraphrasing for summarizing some information and for creating your own thoughts while expressing others' opinions. So, how do you think what paraphrasing might or should include? Okay, so but there are some requirements for paraphrasing as far as we should follow, right? Yeah, right. So why do we need paraphrasing in academic writing? What does this skill give us, and how does it help us? In which way? Right. Right. Okay, so if we even analyze the literature or do the literature review, yeah, and we have to write it in our own words. That's why this way is helping us to think critically and not and to avoid, first of all, plagiarism, right? Plagiarism, plagiat. And so plagiarism is presenting your own work ideas from another source as your own. And with, if you do it like without paraphrasing, without citation, it is plagiarism and it is punished. Like the minimal punishment is to not to accept your work, right? And what are the recommended indicators of originality of scientific papers in our country in percentage? So for master's research, what percentage of originality should be in your work? Have you got any ideas? Forty. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. because yesterday I was preparing for our lesson and I have found, oh, okay. So look, we've got in Ukrainian, but we've got Ministry of Education recommendations for originality of our texts. Yeah, can you see? 3.7. Recommended indexes for the originality of the text for the qualification papers. So over 90% it's like original text, yeah. From 70 to 90, original text is satisfied. And 60, 70, we should pay attention to the low level of the original text. But if you have less than 60%, you haven't got a paper that you have passed the checking for plagiarism. It's not enough. I don't remember where, but I have found the I don't remember. No. So it seems to me I have closed this. Yes, okay. For master's degree, there are some limitations. From 70 to 85% should be originality of the text. For bachelor's degree, pay attention, it was acceptable from 60 to 75%. So for master's degree, the level of your originality must be higher according to the requirements. Ось, дивіться, бачите, для курсових робіт там від 50 до 60 ще допускається. А далі має бути для дипломних робіт. Там було просто в вигляді було цього, схеми, то воно було так гарно розписано, але я, на жаль, не зберегла ту картинку. Okay, so, but pay attention that for master's research, it is higher requirement than for your bachelor's research. So you have to, so you have to translate them, yeah, and like, Okay, so with the help of UniCheck, yeah, we can check our work for plagiarism, right? And other servers for plagiarism, what other servers do you know? Is it free? I see. Also because I have found some small theotools.com and save a sign. But it seems to me it's also for small texts, not for big one. The same as Unicheck, yeah? Unicheck.com. Why does plagiarism matter? Your opinion. Why does plagiarism matter? Mhm. 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 Authority, yeah? Mhm. Okay, right you are. So it is a principle of intellectual honesty, yeah? That all members of the academic community should acknowledge their debts to the originators of the ideas, data which form the basis of their own work. And why should we avoid plagiarism? Why should we avoid it? Only to pass your work for Unicheck and to get the paper that it's okay, or any other reasons? Mhm. 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 Okay, so but in academic society, we should avoid plagiarism, just to speak, to learn to know, speak our own mind, and not to just reproduce the opinions of others, but build our own opinion and our own thoughts, even if they based on others' opinions. We have to present it in our own words. What are plagiarism issues? For, no, in academic writing, what are plagiarism issues? Mhm. 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 Okay, so and plagiarism issues are just insufficient paraphrasing if you are analyzing the material, the lack of abilities of critical reading, yeah, also inappropriate use of citations, quotations. So, and to avoid plagiarism, it's just to take into account these issues. Okay. So I would like we watch a short video about plagiarism and how to avoid it. So what is plagiarism itself, and what are recommendations to avoid it? I'll share your screen.
The word plagiarism can cause students both confusion and concern, since it's a concept that is often high stakes, but can also seem cryptic. When we fully understand what plagiarism is, however, we're one step closer to avoiding plagiarism in our writing. The Walden University Student Handbook defines plagiarism as the following: the quote, use of intellectual material produced by another person without acknowledging its source, end quote. Essentially, what this means is that in US academic writing, we need to always tell our readers when we are using ideas, facts, and statistics from our sources. This includes source information that we use in any form: summary, paraphrase, or quotations. Another way of saying this is giving credit where credit is due. When we learn information from a source and include that information in our writing, we need to give credit to the original source. In this way, appropriately giving credit helps us avoid plagiarism and maintain academic integrity. Let's look at the specific ways plagiarism can manifest in writing. The Writing Center categorizes plagiarism into 3 categories: overt plagiarism, passive plagiarism, and self-plagiarism, also referred to as misuse of a writer's own past writing. Overt plagiarism is when writers use the exact words from a source without enclosing those words in quotation marks and citing the author, year, and page number of the source. Passive plagiarism is when writers use ineffective paraphrasing or are missing citations in their writing. In these cases, writers aren't using the exact wording from the source, but they still need to credit the source for their original ideas. Self-plagiarism is when writers misuse their own past writing, reusing their own previously submitted sentences, paragraphs, or entire papers, either in the same course or another course. At Walden University, students should focus on writing about ideas in new ways and approaching assignments with new understanding, unless they are working on specific assignments, like doctoral capstones, or have faculty approval. Many students are concerned that they will plagiarize in their writing or may be frustrated that they have plagiarized in the past. This is understandable. Plagiarism can be a significant writing issue, but it's also something that can be avoided when we understand the following. Avoiding plagiarism is a writing skill that can be learned with practice. There are writing and citing strategies any writer can learn and practice to avoid plagiarism. Avoiding plagiarism is a writing skill that can be affected by limited time, a poor writing process, and a lack of critical reading. All of these factors can contribute to plagiarism, even if you know all of the writing and citing rules to avoid plagiarism. So when you are concerned about plagiarism, pay close attention to your writing schedule, process, and reading. Finally, avoiding plagiarism is a writing skill that can be difficult when learning new skills or engaging in new ideas. If you're new to the field you are studying, or if you are learning new concepts, be aware that as you focus on this new area, other areas of your writing, like avoiding plagiarism, might become more difficult. This doesn't mean plagiarism is acceptable in these cases. Instead, your awareness is key. In these situations, pay special attention and set aside extra time to ensure you're avoiding plagiarism. Now you know what plagiarism is, what the types of plagiarism are, and what can contribute to plagiarism in your writing. Of course, this is just the start. To learn more about types of plagiarism and how to avoid them, use the following resources: the Writing Center's Plagiarism Prevention Resource Kit, short video series, including the other videos in this plagiarism detection and revision skills playlist, and our full webinar, Plagiarism Prevention, the 3 components to avoiding plagiarism.
Okay, so do you remember the 3 types of plagiarism. Okay, and as far as you see from the video, to avoid plagiarism, just it's a skill like learning writing, yeah. So that is why it should be trained just. And one more short video about writing process to avoid plagiarism.
Avoiding plagiarism is important for all academic writing, since plagiarism can be a significant writing issue. However, while writers might be aware of what plagiarism is, it can be more difficult to avoid plagiarism in practice. We recommend these 4 strategies to develop a writing process for avoiding plagiarism: critical reading, researching and taking notes, reviewing and revising, and considering your time and writing schedule. Critical reading involves fully understanding the ideas and concepts you're writing about. Researching and taking notes refers to carefully noting where ideas come from. Reviewing and revising means fixing errors in quoting, paraphrasing, and citing. And considering your time and writing schedule involves creating time to avoid rushing and writing last minute. Let's first explore critical reading. Critical reading is essential because when writers don't fully understand what they read, they may find paraphrasing difficult. If a student doesn't fully understand what they are reading, they might feel uncomfortable integrating it into their writing. This might mean they rely on insufficient quoting or paraphrasing in their writing, resulting in plagiarism. To help you with critical reading, take your time reading. It can be tempting to rush this step, but taking your time is important to fully understanding and then integrating the reading into your writing. Also, try to paraphrase as you read, which will help you critically engage with your reading. Finally, look up concepts as needed, ensuring you fully understand what you're reading. Next, let's look at researching and taking notes. As you research and take notes, carefully note where ideas come from. If writers don't pay attention to their researching and note-taking process, when they go to write, they can falsely assume that quotations or information from a source are actually their own, creating confusion and the possibility of plagiarism. To help you with researching and taking notes, be sure to add quotation marks around any quotations you include in your notes. Also add citations to any quotations or paraphrases you include in your notes to separate them from your own ideas. Finally, add page numbers to key passages so you can find them again at a later time. Now let's examine reviewing and revising. Reviewing and revising your writing is important to the writing process as a whole, but it's also particularly important for avoiding plagiarism. By taking the time to review and revise your writing, you'll catch and revise errors that could be plagiarism. One resource that can help you with reviewing and revising is an originality checker like SafeAssign. These automatic programs can identify inappropriately cited quotations or paraphrases, noting places for possible revision. Another approach is to highlight all of your citations in your draft, which can help you visually identify where citations might be missing. It can also be helpful to compare your paraphrases to the original source to ensure you fully paraphrase the source's ideas in your own voice. Finally, let's look at time and writing schedule. All these strategies can be difficult to implement if you don't have enough time and an appropriate writing schedule. While well-done students are usually very busy with school, work, and personal commitments, it's important to build in as much time as you can to your writing process to help you avoid plagiarism. One way to ensure you have time for your writing process is to create a writing schedule. Setting aside time for various stages of the writing process will help you avoid rushing at the last minute before your deadline. Specifically, make sure you set aside time to proofread and edit your writing. These last steps can be overlooked without a writing schedule. Finally, allow yourself to take a break while you write. Taking a break, even if it's only a 15 or 30-minute break, can help you see your writing in a new way and identify revisions needed to avoid plagiarism. Keep in mind these 4 writing process strategies for avoiding plagiarism as you write. Each of these strategies will help you develop a strong writing process and, in turn, help you avoid plagiarism in your writing.
So, okay. And the main idea starts with this diagram or scheme, right? And ends with the same scheme. So for a good writing, for your own thoughts, first step is critical reading. Yeah, and as far as you remember, we started our critical reading training skills the previous lesson, right? So I think that the next lesson will continue training our critical reading skills and try some paragraphs for paraphrasing to develop our skills in avoiding plagiarism. But it will be the next week because this week we've got the end of the lesson. Okay, thanks for joining and have a nice rest of the week and stay safe. Goodbye.